Gaza has been obliterated. Destruction. Complete almost destruction. What should happen now? Here's a discussion that is incomplete. On the flip side, I'll share some thoughts.
It's like, what do you want to happen to that area? Because someone has to rebuild it. Look, absolutely, Israel shouldn't have done what they did and kill who knows how many innocent people and literally destroy most of the buildings there. We all can agree that's a horrible thing, but it's done. So now what?
Yeah, and we can also agree that it was not. Look, yeah, I agree. It was a very aggressive action. I would argue that the U.S. would engage in that same aggressive action if we had a proportionate, attack
from Mexico. Or something like that.
So, or Canada,
right?
Goddamn Canadians! They're plotting something. I just know it. So if so that's true. But again, it was a war that Hamas started. Right? I think you have to go back to the beginning of this one. And yes, there's fault on both sides, of course. But, Hamas now at times has been acting like the aggrieved party. Right?
It's fuck around and find out in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, they gave Israel the green light to just go ham. And now when you see the overhead drone footage of what Gaza looks like now, it's hard to even believe that it's real. Everything's gone.
Yeah, which I get it. I mean, from a real estate developer's perspective, I'm sure he's seen overhead imagery.
Right, turn it into the Mediterranean of the Middle East.
This looks like a demolition site. So let's clear it out.
The real question is, if that doesn't, then what? If you don't want that to happen, then what? If the United States doesn't take it over, or who should, and what do you do with it? And how do you get the money to rebuild it? And where does it come from? And how do you do it? Who do you bring in to rebuild it? Who governs it? How does that work? Who gets what building? How does it work?
Yeah.
It's a very complicated thing when you destroy an entire fucking city.
Yeah.
Which is see if you can find some of that overhead footage.
And when you're talking about, moving out 2.3 million people to other areas.
Yeah.
But I think again, the answer is that the Arab states have to take this on. Right, they finally have to address this issue. They've used some of them have used the Palestinian issue to their own devices,
Here it is.
without doing anything to the benefit of the Palestinians.
Look at this footage. This is unbelievable.
I don't think Joe Rogan's listening. I think he's just a little too enamored with himself, because his guest said it very clearly. I think that the Arab states have to take this upon themselves. That's what America is trying to do. After all, they've used the Palestinians to their end to keep them as victims, so that way we can always point a finger. Oh, look at the victimizers, look at the oppressor, the colonizer, Israel. Please. Stop using them as victims and being oppressed people. They started a war, and this is what happens in war. Germany in 1945 looked very much the same, and likewise in Japan. So this is the result of war, which ultimately the Arab states around Gaza, around the Palestinians, are responsible, together with the Palestinians in Gaza. Absolutely. And therefore, they need to be part of the solution. Take them in, let it be rebuilt, and become a secure zone, not just for Israel, but also for all of humanity, ultimately. That's my thoughts on this.